Cavs were up. Cavs were down
3-1
three.
at that point, right? Didn't they have it? Did they ever trail 3-1?
Okay, yeah, they were down 3-1. They might have. Let's just say they were down 3-1. Right. So at this point in time, I don't have a ticket to get to Cleveland yet, a plane ticket. I don't have a hotel or anything for
Okay.
Cleveland. So the game's over, right? Because it was a close game. Game whatever it was. Well, guess what? Game five was close. So
Mhm.
game five was close, and all you see is all the media people on the on with on with whatever their travel people booking flights. And I remember distinctly saying, "All right, I need a flight," and lady said, "All right, this flight is $800." Okay, charge that thing. It ain't my money.
So I actually released part of this episode a few weeks ago. We recorded this a week before the presidential election, and there was some very important information as my guest on today's episode, John Jervay Jr., urged people to get out and vote. He also discussed his role as a black man in news editing today. So you've heard some of the parts of this, but I'm going to leave that part in here in case you haven't. John and I worked together at ESPN, and he's had a tremendous career. We never worked on the same project. He was more seasoned and further along in his career than I was. But us being black men, both into sports, obviously, we came together. A few mutual friends introduced us to each other. So we discuss his career. He talks about one of the things that I want people to really listen to was his experience with traveling during the sports, big events. He talks about the NBA Finals and the Super Bowl. So I know a lot of my audience want to get into sports, and they would like to know what it's like. He gives you the real side of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is my conversation with my bro, John Jervay Jr. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the line, I got a good brother of mine. I used to work with ESPN. I'm gonna be honest. He was like one of my OGs for real. Somebody that I learned a lot from, whether it was on the basketball court or in the production lab. And that's the one and only Mr. John Jervay Jr. John, what up, bro?
What's up, bro? Thank you for having me, man. I'm blessed and honored to be in your presence, and for you to call me an OG, makes me realize I am about to turn 40. So I appreciate that, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. I always look at OG as a term of endearment. I remember NABJ 17 in New Orleans. I was with a lot of the Morgan State students, and it was my second full conference, and they started looking at me like the OG. I'm like, wait a minute, I was like, time flies so fast, man. But how you been?
I'm good, man. I'm alive. My family's healthy. I'm employed, and I wake up every day, man, and just happy that I'm still, even though it's 2020, I'm just happy to still be here, man. I'm happy to be in the building.
Yeah. Now you went to the real HU, as they
Yep.
call it, and that is Hampton. Were you always focused on going to a HBCU for college, or how did it come about?
Wow. No. So I went to a really dope high school in Philadelphia. To me, it's the best in the entire city. Called St. Joe's Prep. Many people know of St. Joe's Prep for the football team. They're always nationally ranked in the country. DeAndre Swift in the league right now, tearing it up. Shout out to him. But I was a part of a program called the A4 program, which was the African American Alumni Association at St. Joe's Prep. And they took us on a ton of tours, visiting all these HBCUs and so forth and so forth. And I'll never forget the conversation I had with my parents about selecting a college. I always wanted to go to Duke. Full honesty, I was too nervous to apply to Duke because I love Duke so much. I did not want to get denied and then have my love for Duke be jaded by the fact they didn't let me in the building. But I was at a restaurant with my parents, and they were talking to me about an HBCU, And they were like, yo, you should look into HBCUs. And I remember specifically telling my parents, yo, I don't want to go to an all-black school. Why would I want to do that, right? Now this time I'm going to an all-boy high school. We go on a tour. Bruh, when I tell you that I was on that campus for every bit of 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I could do this. The boy that took us around said it was 13-1 was the ratio. Now I'm coming from an all-boy high school. You know what I mean? I'm in my prime, right? Everything is, everything for me. And I lost my mind, man. So it came down for me between Hampton and North Carolina Central. And truth be told, I wanted to go to North Carolina Central more than I wanted to go to Hampton. So I visited both campuses with my parents, and my mom saw North Carolina Central's campus. And like that other HU, how it's a dope campus, but across the street, it ain't so dope. North Carolina Central was worse at that point in time. Now, this is back in 99, so no disrespect. I don't know what it looks like now. But my mom was just like, nah, this ain't it. Like, look, you grown, you're making your decision, but nah, I'm not feeling this one. So it made it a lot easier for me to choose Hampton. I'm for honesty, like I chose Hampton not because they gave me the most money, not because I cared about the education. To be 100% real with you, although it was a great education, I appreciate everything I got from. I strictly chose Hampton because I was infatuated by the caliber of women that were on campus. And in my mind, I said, listen, I got 13 options to find someone for me. I'm going to go here.
Oh man, that's awesome. So, did you always know that you wanted to get into broadcast journalism and sports? When did your love for the business start?
So for me, I'm one of those kids, and I'm about to date myself. Um, I knew I was going to be involved in sports somehow, some way since probably about fourth or fifth grade. I still do to this day, and it's a venture, it's a passion of my life that I'm trying to get over that hurdle of being afraid to start it. Which is I've always wanted to write children's books. When I was in grade school, I always would write children's books, or like children's stories, excuse me, in grade school. And I always tested well. I made the National Poet Hall of Fame in like first grade. So like I've been writing since a youngin'. Like most kids, my dream was to play professional basketball. That was my dream. I realized rather early that it's another level. Like I can play, but like there's like, yo, I can play, and then there's like, yo, I'm nice, right? Like I always tell people the difference between somebody that can play and somebody that's nice is I ask you, yo, do you miss open shots? If you tell me yeah, you're not nice, because a professional athlete does not, when they're just playing around. I ain't talking about in a real game, but when they're just playing around with you and myself, they don't miss. Like you've seen plenty of cats come to ESPN when we were there, bro. They don't miss,
I
right? So
remember
like,
you saying that line. Now I think about it, I remember you saying that with because when we met, I was this is right before they took. I feel like we met at the campuses out the hoops outside before they took
probably,
down those, before they started renovating the cafeteria. Obviously, we played more in the gym, but I remember you saying that line.
yeah, bro. Like, I mean, I've been blessed and honored to be able to rub shoulders with tons of great basketball minds, football minds, whatever kind of mind you want to think. Like I rub shoulders with them with any type of person. I've been around them all. Like I don't take for granted being able to walk into a gym and see Chauncey Billups. Like, what I'm saying, across the joint. I'm like, yo, he just won finals MVP, and now he's checking rock with us, right? And
Mhm.
and not even have to go to that level. Like there was tons of dudes that came through ESPN during my brief time, my little 5 to 6 years there, that played not just like play ball, but they played D1 high level basketball. And
Mhm.
I watched them play ball, and I'm like, he don't miss. But here you go. I feel confident enough that you put me on any court in America. I mean, not at 40, but I'm talking about back in my prime, right? Like any court in America, and I'm like, yo, two things is going to happen. I'm going to get a bucket, and I'm going to hold my own. I
Mhm.
ain't saying I'm about to come out here and drop 30 on nobody, but I'm going to get a bucket because I know how to get a bucket, and I'm going to hold my own because I'm smart, right? But the difference is that you can leave me open. I'm a miss. Now when I'm on, bruh, I'm not missing. But that's the difference between me and somebody that got whether it be through a scholarship to play ball or whether it just be overseas or in the NBA. The difference is I'm going to miss. They not going to miss, bro. It's a reality check.
Yeah, it was definitely some good times. We'll get more into that later. But so you knew from a young age that you wanted to be in sports and writing about it.
Yep. I used to back before Sports Center was the thing. And my parents love this about me. I remember distinctly being in 4th, 5th grade, and I was afraid of the dark. And I would go to sleep to Sports Center, right? Set my timer to Sports Center. Wake up, turn the TV on. Sports Center's on. Any girl that I've ever dealt with in my life, they turn the TV on and they go, "Oh my God, I can just tell that you was just watching it, right?" Like I always was watching Sports Center. I used to have a Super Bowl tape back probably, I want to say the last team on there was the Washington. Hold up. When the Bills lost to 4, who was the last? The Cowboys was the last one, right? So the last Cowboys Bills one was the last one on this Super Bowl tape. Dude, when I tell you that after I would wake up and get my day started, parents, they wanted you to eat your breakfast and all that stuff. I never really liked eating breakfast. I would sit down, I would pop in that Super Bowl tape, and I would watch it. I mean, bro, at that time, I could tell you Super Bowl 1 through whatever it was. I could tell you everybody that played, MVPs, who was this, who did that. Like there was nothing I did not know. So like my love for sports, it's always been there. Like to me, taking 2020 out of it and all the craziness is going and realizing as a more mature individual how less important certain things are. There was nothing more important to me than sports. Like I planned, hell, when I got married on my honeymoon, like I coordinated with my wife at the time, like, yo, look, I got a fantasy football lineup. Like, I just like, like I ain't trying to be rude, but like, yo, babe, like give me like 30 minutes. Like I gotta lock in, I gotta make sure. Now, granted, that was a distracting year for me. We were planning for a wedding and all that type of stuff. So I sucked that year in fantasy. But like my love for sports, it's real, man. Like there's nothing I enjoy more in life than going to a sporting event, being an event, man. And when you get the opportunity to travel like you have, go see this game, go see that game, it does something to you because like, like I know I'm long-winded at times.
No,
but
this is about you, bro.
I remember I was my craziest year covering anything was I was at I call it the Beyonce Super Bowl, the one with Cam and Peyton played, right? First of all, that was a terrible game. I lost a lot of respect for Cam, and then I just hated Peyton Manning, man. I'm a Florida Gator fan, so I never liked Peyton. He's over.
Oh man, see, I feel that way about Brady.
Oh, see, you know what's raw. So you know me, I'm a diehard Eagles fan, right? Like I bleed green. I got this soft spot in my heart for Tom Brady, man.
Oh, so
like he's the GOAT too, right? Like he's the best to ever do it.
It's always somebody's always on one. It's always you either love Brady and hate
no
Manning or vice versa.
Yeah, there's no in between, man. But so I remember that. So that particularly, I was at that Super Bowl, and I had about a month. I had a month or maybe a little less than a month on the road because Super Bowl coverage week type thing is 2 weeks. It's not a week. It's 2 weeks for people that's in the media and all that stuff. So I was out there for 2 weeks. I came home for about 48 hours, maybe 72, and then I flew right back out, and I had to go to Toronto for All-Star Weekend. So
jeez, you was rolling.
Yeah, I was rolling, bro. But I remember distinctly. I did 2 things during Super Bowl week that made me realize how big of a moment this was for me, right? as a kid, like I told you a couple minutes ago, as a kid that sat there, watched Super Bowl, could tell you everything about it. I FaceTime my parents while I was on the field pregame. So, you know, my parents are like struggling. They're like, oh my God. So I'm standing next to Usher. I look to my other side. It's like Mark Wahlberg. Behind me, it's like I see all the yellow jackets come out. So it's like the Jim Browns and all these dudes. And I'm looking like, yo, and not to steal LeBron's line, but I'm like, yo, I'm just a kid from Southwest Philadelphia, right? Like, truth be told, I'm really not supposed to be here right now, right? And not because all my friends got killed or anything like that. Now that's not my story. But every person I grew up with from my neighborhood, nobody finished college, right? Nobody is doing anything, and this is no shot at them, but nobody's doing anything that when we was little kids, we sat down and we said what we were going to become. Nobody was doing it. But here I am at this moment. I'm not playing, but I'm doing what I said I was going to do. And I watched my parents cry. I called at that time, my fiance. I put her on the phone. I'm letting her see it. I let them watch the Beyonce Super Bowl John like live, like not on the, you know, and I'm just sitting and I'm just going through the moments, dude. And I'm like, why, like I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So this sport thing is real for me, man. It's not just cool. Like this is my life. Like I genuinely love it.
And mind you, for folks who may not be keeping up, we talking Super Bowl 50. The anniversary, a special one. And I think for me, I know you said you lost respect for Cam. I wanted that one so bad. Now I'm a Peyton Manning fan, but I wanted to see a black quarterback win that one. But you know, I can relate to that moment, the way you watch football and sports. So I didn't get into sports really till I was about 8 or 9, or maybe
Okay.
7, 8 or 9. My thing was wrestling from day one. My mother will tell you.
Look, I'm not you with wrestling, but I got a guy, and I actually put him onto your wrestling podcast.
Oh,
he
I
actually already knew about
appreciate
your pod. He already knew about it because your pod is up there in the wrestling community, bro. So I tip my
man,
cap
I
to you.
appreciate that.
My man is a diehard, and I'll tell you that I used to. I'm the way everybody goes to houses for fights. That was me as a kid for wrestling, right?
Okay.
And I'll tell you that the greatest thing that I ever saw as a wrestling fan was the first pay-per-view TLC, Hardy Boys, Hardy Brothers, Dudley Boys. Is it Dudley Brothers or Dudley
The
Boys?
Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian.
Bruh.
SummerSlam 2000.
Oh my God, yo. Dude, like now mind you, I'm 20 at the time, 2000. I'm 20. I'm still into it.
Mm-hmm.
I fell off on wrestling when it got
when the Attitude Era?
Not even that. When they merged the WCW,
a lot of people did,
and it became too much. One thing I did not like about the WCW is like back then it was way too many belts for my liking.
Okay.
So WWE was perfect. It was just the heavyweight, intercontinental, 24/7 belt, or the hardcore belt, excuse me, and the tag team belts. That's basically it. And then, you know, WCW had they had TV champ, USA champ. And I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? But
well, so hindsight 2020, if they know they messed up with that invasion angle and lost a lot of fans. But really, it was two things: not having Goldberg, the NWO, which Hogan, Hall, and Nash, not as Sting, not having their contracts, so they had to use the B+ players. That's like, them, baseball and basketball merging, and they say, but we can only take the minor league players. We can't get Mookie Betts in the NBA or something. And that's when they realized, like, man, hindsight being 2020, they would have just kept it separate. Still, even though they own both of them, because really they only bought it because they wanted the library so they could sell more DVDs, But my mother said she knew I was going to be a boy when she was pregnant with me because I was always kicking every time wrestling came on. And so like my moment like that was when I went to my first Wrestlemania in 2012, just being down there. And I'm like, wow, like I can't believe it, and like the Super Bowl was obviously a goal, Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals. I want to go to one of those events, but like hearing your story, man, is amazing. Being able, and the thing is, being able to FaceTime your parents while
Yeah,
you're on the field. And,
yeah,
because, now as parents, you work so hard to make sure you give your children opportunities, even if you have the world, right? If you have
yep,
the world, you want to give your children the whole universe. It's like you always want to
yeah.
do more, and being able to do that for them, man, I can imagine was just amazing.
I mean, like I said, dude, like the look that was on their face when I did that was amazing to me. I did the same thing. So I was blessed also to be able to cover the NBA finals. I had a crazy run at ESPN where I did probably about 5 NBA All-Star games in a row. The only thing I did not do at ESPN was do a World Series, but
Okay.
I covered the Super Bowl. I did Cavs Warriors round one. Um,
See, I
and
was in on the social media team at the time, and
okay,
BK, well, BK was on the social media team for us,
yep,
and because it was funny because he didn't know he was supposed to go from Oakland to Cleveland. I don't know if you knew the story. He didn't know he was supposed to go to
nah,
Oakland to Cleveland, and
okay,
Tim Dwyer had went and covered some of it too, and he said, man, dude, just go buy some clothes and expensive clothes. He didn't
yeah.
realize that he was supposed to do like it consecutive. He thought he was gonna come home and then go back out.
I'll tell you this, dude. That was probably the most draining, but most fun I've ever had in my life as far as covering the NBA finals. First of all, it was. I mean, it was literally no joke. It was 30 days on the road.
Wow.
So I'm hotel living for 30 days.
Now, which department was you in?
I was in digital media, so I was
Okay.
doing all like the True Hoop TVs and all that type of stuff, working with like my man Amin, who's still at ESPN, Tom Haberstroh, who's now with NBC Sports, Ethan Sherwood Strauss, because he was the Warriors guy. So like we were doing pre and post game content for digital media. So like we got out there probably a week before game one, or maybe even shoot, bro, maybe even like a week and a half before game one.
Wow. And
Honestly,
that's
to this
Oakland,
day, I
right?
don't know why we were out there that long, right? But like, as soon as the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals ended, like, I mean, if it ended on Friday, I was in Oakland on Saturday, right?
Oh, okay.
Um, and I mean, it was a lot of like you talking about expensing. Like that's when you realize, like, what's money to us ain't money to these corporations. Because I mean, I'm paying. So like, all right, it's the way it worked with the travel is the only thing that was guaranteed, as you know, is games 1 through 4.
Mhm.
So you go out there, you buy your ticket for game one. I mean, you buy your flight to get you out there for game one. And then you buy your ticket literally for the next day after game two to get you to game three. But there was a good 2-3 day window in between these games. Like the NBA back, I mean, I really don't pay attention to it anymore because I don't travel. But
Mhm.
like it was, I mean, bro, you would play game one on Monday. They might play on Wednesday or Thursday, but then game three, depending on when game two was, would either be that Sunday or like that following Tuesday, right? And
Mhm.
this particular series went 6. So after game 4 or game 3, whenever no, it actually would be game 2 because they lost. So now I'm buying my new ticket. So you go on the joint, you buy your ticket, and that ticket wasn't that bad. But I want to say Cavs were up, Cavs were down
3-1
three.
at that point, right? Didn't they have it? Did they ever trail 3-1?
Okay, yeah, they were down 3-1. They might have. Let's just say they were down 3-1. Right. So at this one time, I don't have a ticket to get to Cleveland yet, a plane ticket. I don't have a hotel or anything for
Okay.
Cleveland. So the game's over, right? Because it was a close game. Game whatever it was, well, guess what? Then game 5 was close. So
Mhm.
game 5 was close, and all you see is all the media people on the on with on with whatever their travel people booking flights. And I remember distinctly saying, "All right, I need a flight," and the lady said, "All right, this flight is $800." Okay, charge that thing. It ain't my money. You know what I mean? So, it was cool. You know what I mean? I appreciated everything that I got from it, man. And I wouldn't change that 30 days in a row, and not to mention the per diem. You know what I mean? And all the overtime I racked up. That was a good year for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I haven't had anybody on the show talk about. So I'm glad you brought that up. Is the fact that having that travel agent sitting up there trying to figure out, okay, this game is over, but how we gonna get that situated? Do you have any like is that the thing about when you all right, let's just say there's neither one of your teams, right? You don't care about neither team. No, let's switch it up. Let's say it's the Sixers and it's the Sixers and the Warriors in the finals, and it's 2-2. You find yourself rooting harder for the Sixers to go ahead and close it out sooner than hoping for that game 7.
Sorry, you hit home with saying it being the Sixers, right? Because if it's the Sixers, man,
I mean, obviously you want it over in 4, but like, like a lot of people don't understand as far as media people and working in sports. You don't like overtime.
Nope. Nope.
And like I felt for when I saw this year's finals when Danny Green missed a shot. Now, I'm a Laker fan.
Ooh,
I see Danny Green miss a shot. I felt for all the media people who had booked their flights. I remember Marcus Spears was like, man, people got to cancel flights. And especially they've been in a bubble.
A bubble. First of all, tip my cap to them because I can't imagine. It was hard enough for me being away from reality for 30 days. I mean, that was like 2-3 months they were in this bubble. I can't imagine that, man. I would have did it because that's the nature of what we do.
Right.
Right. It's just like these, I compare being not the athletic part of it, but like we're athletes to a degree, the media people, right? Like, like people don't realize like, those flights it's draining. Like it sounds dope. Oh, you here and there. And don't get me wrong, it's dope. But that road life is different, dude. Like, you're by yourself, right? Like you ain't got nothing but a hotel room. And the hotel room was cool when you there for a weekend or a week. But when you in this hotel room and it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, now you're in another hotel room for another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And it's just like, man, like how much I can't take any more room service. Like I just want like regular food. Like I don't want the hotel burger and fries. Like I want the burger and fries that I make on the Foreman grill at home. I want the Bubba burger, not like not this $30. But I mean, I ain't paying for it.
Yep.
That meant that a little tip for anybody that travels. I'm telling you right now, save your per diem. Eat the food that's at these arenas. Eat the media food, bro. Save your per diem because they feed you like kings at these major events. Maybe not game 33 of the season when you covering Bucks versus Warriors, but I'm telling you, Bucks versus Warriors in the finals, please eat that food, man. It's way better than anything you could ever eat. It's way better and you save all your money.
I wish they did that at medical conferences. When I go there and like you brought up the fact on trying to make sure, missing your food, eating, just eating like restaurant food or all the time. And I went last year, I had a run where I had to go to Atlanta for 7 days. And part of it, we couldn't even get into the conference till 2 days later. I thought it was starting on Friday, and it really started on Sunday. So we were just there, me and my manager. So, but it's like, okay, it's Atlanta. You go searching. We went to a game, hung out in the park. But then by that time, Wednesday got there when we was time to go home. I was like, man, I'm ready to go home. Then come home for 2 days, then go to Philly for another conference. And you sitting there like, I just want a home cooked meal. I want to smell the kitchen. Like it's cool to check out the cities and stuff, but you want that real food. So I can 30 days, man, my hat's off to you, bro.
Bro, hotel beds is cool, but it's nothing like home base. There's nothing
now,
like
did you know anybody when you was in these cities? Did you know anybody that you could like link up with who was like from the area?
So that particular finals trip, no. Fortunately, I traveled with a good base of kid people. I did have a homie in Cleveland that I linked up with that went to college with me. But like San Fran, no. When I went down there for the Super Bowl, nah. Toronto, nope. I did like 4 Mayweather fights. I did Mayweather Canelo. No, I don't know anybody in Vegas, but like fortunately for me, which is why I love my people. I love my people. Fortunately for me, all the events I did were events my people traveled to.
Okay.
So like I may not have traveled, like some friends, I go to Vegas. I may not know anybody, but next thing you know, I look on, Instagram popping at that time. This is the hype. This is when Instagram's first coming on the scene and everybody's really getting into it. I go on Instagram and I see such and such is here. I'm like, oh, all right, this is dope. Like there was Mayweather Canelo. It was the best time I ever had in my life as far as on some quick travel joint. I got there on probably Thursday night, and I love doing West Coast events because it's on East. They still showing it on East Coast time, but you on the East Coast, a championship fight, that thing might end at midnight, 1 a.m. So like when I'm in New York, and if I'm covering, like I did Adrian Broner versus Zab Judah, right? So I do that, John, and fight ends at 12:30 at night. The fight ends. So now I got to do my post-game interviews. I got to get this stuff posted. And oh, by the way, you know how it is. You know how the grind is. I only got to do that. I got to be back in Bristol to do a 10 a.m. shift the next day because the grind don't stop, right? But when I'm in Vegas, the fight ends at like 9 o'clock daytime, right? I got time. I'm different afterwards. I'm not trying to speed through these interviews. Like I'm like, oh yeah, take your time. Oh, we can do another take. You know what I mean? I'm covering all the press conferences or whatever. But there was one particular trip where my man, you know Marcus, this with the Undefeated.
Yeah.
Marcus Matthews.
Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah.
I was on social team with him.
Okay. So my man, him and his peoples came out for the fight. They grabbed a cabana at some place on Sunday night after the fight. And this particular day, the Eagles were playing the Chargers, and the Chargers were the local team. So, dude, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. I just covered a dope Mayweather fight. And the next day, I'm sitting in the cabana. I got my drink in my hand. I got like some J's on, swim trunks. And like I'm watching in a cabana my favorite team in all the world play on television. And I don't have to like, you know what I mean? Like, so yes, I don't really know people when I go on the road, but because I love my people travel, I know people when we go on the road. So it's always worked out for me.
Yeah, and that's the cool part because actually that's how we met was shout out to Lucas when y'all was rooming together, I believe. I came over. There was like this big barbecue that the lady who did sales QC did, and I remember it was like during the playoffs because that night the Tigers was playing the Red Sox. It was the night Torrey Hunter fell over the fell over the thing. I go over there and everybody just like over this, like you say, I ain't go to college. I mean, I ain't go away to college. I went to Morgan, so I lived at home. So ESPN was like college for me. Like, so when LeBron said what he said, it resonated with me. So like, and I remember y'all was just like, yo, welcome up here. You need anything, we got you. Let us know, and that's the thing, like you said about our people just, and even though like, for those who don't know, like Lucas is a white boy and a couple other white boys was there, but it was still creating that like brotherhood where everybody just come together. We got into the ESPN stories, but how did the opportunity come about for you? When did you get there?
So I used to work at NBC Sports back before NBC Sports became NBC Sports. When I was at NBCSports.com, there was 6 people working there within like the entire NBC Sports. Like NBCSports.com was literally 6 people. I was one of the 6.
Oh, wow.
NBC had, this was Larry Fitzgerald. Cardinals Steelers Super Bowl. James Harrison's 99-yard touchdown return.
See, that's a soft spot because that's when Ryan.
Yeah, I know. We ain't even got to go there.
And I got to tell him about that too. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
That's
I told him he scared me. Like I said, look, you my favorite analyst, that's a former player, but you play for all the wrong teams, Washington, New York, and the Steelers.
Yeah, and that's a scary man too, bro.
Uh-huh.
So like the game ended, and I got probably let go probably like a week later, right? Like I mean, the writing was on the wall. We knew what it was. We could tell, right? I mean, when you're in the business, bro, like you feel the tension in the air when it's about to go down, right?
Yep.
So maybe I started substitute teaching when I got back, and I got a job at this company called the Sports Network, and it was a dude there that kind of got me doing my own website thing, right? So substitute teaching, I'm doing that, and there was a guy by the name of Gary Cobb, former Eagle, and I was substitute teaching. He walks into school, and it's career day, and I'm not one to walk up to people, like that's not me. And this is, God is awesome, because there was something that happened that particular day that made God talk to me in a way where God was like, yo, step out your comfort zone, go talk to him. So I go up to Gary Cobb and I go, hey, Mr. Cobb, John Jervay, I write. I would love to write for your website. The man says, here's my card, give me a call. So fast forward, I'm now writing for Gary Cobb. I'm covering Sixers games. I'm at Eagles practice overnight. I'm just everywhere, dude. Like I'm everywhere locally.
Living a dream.
And living my local dream, right? And then there was a man by the name of with NABJ. His name is Sherlin Christie, right? Out of Atlantic City. He would always send like job postings all throughout the country. Like, hey, if anybody's looking for this, anybody's looking for that. So one particular day, he sent a job posting for ESPN. I responded back to him with something I don't normally do. I responded back to him. I said, hey, I would love to write for them. Here are some examples of my work. So he goes, I can't guarantee you a writing job, but what I can do is I can put you in contact with somebody who's on the video side. Her name was Sharita Johnson, right? And Sharita is a mentor to me. I still keep in contact with her today. I love her to death. They fly me out to ESPN, right? Like, here you go. You feel like an athlete guy. Fly out to ESPN. They got the car. They got my own rental car waiting for me there. When I get there, I drive there, and then I go on the tour, right? I go on the run, right? No, I'm sorry, the car wash. Car wash, right? So I interview with this person. I interview with that person. I go to lunch. I interview with this person. I interview with this person. Now, mind you, I touch down. It's probably like 9 a.m. I'm not flying back that night till probably about 7:30 at night. So that whole entire day, I'm interviewing. So I go through the interviews. Boom. Obviously I do well, right? Sharita calls me maybe 2 days later, offers me the job. Now, this time, I don't want to go to Connecticut. I don't. I'm like, I don't want to go to Bristol, Connecticut. I can't go to Bristol, Connecticut. So I told her, I was like, hey, can you give me 72 hours? I need to think. And she said, cool, no problem. She was like, this is the offer. This is how much money. I called her back at the most ridiculous time of night because I knew she wouldn't answer. And I turned down the job.
Wow.
She called me the next day. And she said, first and foremost, as a Black female, I need to educate my brother. Never turn down a job on an answering machine. That's a bad look for you. And I said, okay. And she said, second of all, if we're going to fly you out here, do all these things for you, the least you can do is give me an opportunity to counter if you're not comfortable with the offer I made you. So, bro, I've never countered. I know what counter means, but I'm like, counter? Like, what's she talking about? Like, you offer me good money. Like, so she was like, yo, look, this is what I can do for you. So then I sat, I thought on it. I talked to a lot of people, and Pusha T came out with a song. I forget the title, but the line in the song was, able to drop it all at the age of 30 and be free to go. And at that point in time, I was turning 30. I let that song rock with me, and I said, stop being afraid, man. What's the worst that can happen? You go up there, you fail? Okay, we all fail. This is a legit conversation I had with myself. We all fail. What happens if you do well, though? I had no answer. So I said, all right, I'm going to go. So for the first time in my life, I went up there. I was in a place by myself. When I went to college, I traveled. I had about like 4 or 5 people from my high school went with me. So I had people. I'm an only child. First time by myself in a foreign land. And if anyone has never been to Bristol, there's ESPN and like a Subway. That's pretty much Bristol, Connecticut. Like, no disrespect. Now, other cities got a little bit, but that is Bristol. Bristol, Connecticut is literally ESPN in hotels and Subway. So
you can't forget the amusement part. That's
only
open
my bad.
during
Shout
the
out to the
summer.
amusement part, bro. I was actually gonna go there this year too, but COVID kind of messed all that up.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
planning to go back this year. I was planning to bum somebody's family pass. To go there for employee day. I'm not going unless it's for the employee day, dude. Like,
Right.
I only know one way with that amusement park. If I got to go and pay for stuff, I'm like, I'm not doing all that. Like, I need the red carpet treatment.
Mm-hmm.
But I get out there, and I lived in a hotel for the first 30, 60 days. I lived in a hotel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they put me in a hotel. They put me in a hotel for the first couple months that I was out there. So I found a place, and found a place, and then the rest was history, man. Like, I was working obscure hours. I was working 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. By myself. I moved into downtown Hartford, thinking I was living in a downtown life, but downtown Hartford ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Downtown Hartford at that point in time was like a 3-block radius of bars, and then, but like, it ain't nothing. Like, it ain't like a downtown where during the middle of the day you can walk outside and see people. Because remember, I'm working 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. So like, I'm not home during the popping in air quotes for those that can't see, air quotes popping hours. You know what I mean? But like, it was cool, man. Like, I found out a lot about myself. I went through some financial hardships. You know what I mean? Being on my own. Pride getting in the way, not refusing to ask anybody for anything, which I learned later in life is the dumbest thing. Man, if you need help, ask for help, man. Like, don't kill yourself if you literally have a hand that can help you. You know what I mean? Don't let your pride get in the way of that crap. But I was there, and then the rest was history, man. Like, I started out working at what they called it was called the locals department, which was ESPN New York, Chicago, Dallas, Boston, and I was covering those events. And then we got absorbed by digital media as a whole. And I had a decision to make. Was I going to go with Numbers Never Lie or go on the digital media side? And I was about this close to going to Numbers Never Lie. This close. I mean, got put on board. Shout out to my man, Danny Corrales. He's doing this thing with the jump now, but Danny brought me on board and was like, yo, this is my man. He's the next one at ESPN. But I chose to go to digital media side because the vision that I had, what I wanted to do in life, and the most important thing I wanted to do was travel. And digital media was presenting me with that option.
Wow. Yeah, because man, that's awesome. Now, you talked about moving to Hartford. Was that always like, is that like a thing there for people who, like, once you kind of made it once you go to Hartford? Because I know I was only there 2 years, so I went from one apartment in Bristol. Then when me and my wife was dating, the 6 months we got married, she moved up. Then we just moved into a 2-bedroom that was in the same area. And we had actually thought about moving to Waterbury for a little bit. We also looked in what was the other? Shout out to Aaron for Waterbury. It was another Middletown. We looked there.
I used to get my hair cut out Middletown back when I had hair.
Oh yeah. So I went to West Hartford. I mean the north end of Hartford, I think it was. No, South Hartford.
Okay.
Shout out to my man Mark. So because for me, my cousin lived in Windsor. So I lived with him for 3 weeks. And the thing he did was he was like, hey man, you need anything? I got you. And he's like, I got you a barber. You good. And then he moved after 6 months. It was like he moved and then like a month, and then my wife came up there. But was that the thing, like try to get to Hartford and then you decided to move back closer to Bristol?
Did I lose you?
I can hear you, but it switched off your headphones to
Oh,
your
my fault. Yeah, I did. My Jones died. I'm sorry.
No, you
Repeat
good.
that last part.
All right. So was like is it for you? Did you move to Hartford and then find your way back to Bristol, or did you kind of just because I know you said you
So
realized Hartford
yeah,
wasn't like that?
yeah. So what I did was I moved to Hartford, and living on my own at that point in time was financially possible, but I was not enjoying myself. So right around the time my lease was ending, my man Danny, actually my man Paul, who was Danny's roommate and B Dan's roommate, who was the roommate we had with Lucas.
Mhm.
Um, Paul was moving, and he was like, "Yo, I'm moving. Let me see if my peoples will let you move in." And I was like, "All right, hell yeah, man." I was like, "Man, I'm dying. Like, man, I just want to come in the house and be able to talk to somebody." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was working crazy hours. So, like, I wasn't seeing anybody. So, I was literally going to work and coming home. So, I went from Hartford to Bristol, to the crib that you saw me at. And
Mhm.
then whatever with that crib. And then I went from there to Hard Hitting New Britain.
I
And that was
remember
the
that.
last, yeah, that was the last crib that I lived in Connecticut, was New Britain. Shout out
And
to Church Street.
oh man, those cookouts.
Legendary, bro. Legendary. Fun times at that crib.
Yeah, man. But now when you look back at your time at ESPN, what was some of the highlights? Now, what were some of the highlights that you think of?
Um, I mean, outside of the stuff I said, like the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
Mayweather fights, and all those things, one of my biggest highlights at ESPN was I was I got to go back to Hampton and speak to Hampton students, to represent ESPN for to encourage them to get into sports, and for recruiting purposes. And I told this story about how you know how it is. Basically, ESPN, the way for anyone that's never been there, uh, you have to basically be prepared to be in a commercial at any given second,
Yep.
right? Like first and foremost, you can never fan out. Never fan out when you see anybody, because there's a good chance that they're shooting a commercial. And what you can do, and I, as a person who shoots stuff and yourself as well, it sucks when somebody screws up your shoot on some dumb stuff, right? So I remember specifically, I'm walking to the caf, and shout out to my man Vinny, who used to be in the caf, made great food. I'm at the pizza bar, right? This is before they did the caf. I'm at the pizza joint, right? I'm
Mhm.
ordering my food, blah blah blah. I'm waiting for my food to come. I'm ordering actually a personal pizza back when they used to do them joints.
Man, those are some good pieces.
It was good pieces, bro. So I'm ordering my pizza, and I look to my left, and it's Cam Newton, and I'm like, this is Cam Newton. And my mom, like, this is Cam Newton. Like, I'm I'm just a kid from Southwest, and this is who I thought at the point in time. Like, I was a fan of Cam. Still kind of sort of am, right?
Okay.
Cam Newton. And then I want to say maybe I walk back, and on my walk back, I walk. You remember how the field was on
Mhm.
outside of the cab? So you can go left or you go right, and the digital media side was on the right. So I'm going right, and I said, "Oh, I forgot something. I gotta go get a tape from the library. Let me go on the left side." So I go on the left side. I walk past. It's Zeke. Isaiah Thomas, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play basketball, is right next to me, and I'm just like, this is crazy to me. Like these are all the people. And then like um my my last story I would tell you would be, I grew up an Eagles fan. Eric Allen is probably one of my favorite Eagles of all time. In fact, when I did an interview with NABJ for ESPN, um, one of the questions they asked me is, name three people in the NFL history that aren't in the Hall of Fame that should be.
Mhm.
First person I named, Eric Allen. Eric Allen should be in the Hall of Fame. No reason that you're the number two cornerback for an entire decade in the NFL. No reason you're not number one is because Deion Primetime Sanders is in the league. So you're the number two quarterback and you not in the Hall of Fame. But that's a conversation for another day, right? So I'm working and I'm doing digital media recaps. And my man Jim Basketball knows I'm the biggest ESPN fan. And he goes, "Yo, let me introduce you to somebody." I look up, it's Eric Allen. Now, Eric Allen is one of my favorite athletes of all time. I look up and I go, yo, Eric, first of all, I got the stones to call him by his first name, Eric. Yo, you should be in the Hall of Fame, dude. And he's like, nah, man. Nah. I'm like, he's like, you probably don't remember me. I said, don't remember you. I said, brother, I was sitting on the couch when you picked off that pass against the New York Jets and handed the ball to Randall Cunningham in the tunnel when he had the crutches. I had a pair of sneakers on that day. My mom bought it. It was the first time I ever wore those sneakers. And I said, Mr. Allen, I'm sorry. I said, Eric, I never wore those sneakers ever again in my life because Randall got injured with them. And I'm superstitious, and I threw those sneakers away. They were Bobos, by the way, too. He just laughed or whatever the case may be. But then I developed a relationship with this human being who I admired for years, man. So like that was probably like the craziest thing for me there was like meeting individuals that like not only that I admired, but like they were greats to me. But for them to treat me as a peer, I mean, there's some ones that ain't treat you like peers, right? There's plenty of ones that it would sit there on their phone and text away and act like you're not even there.
Yep.
But the ones that took the time, bro, like one time Jeezy came up to the studio. Shout out to my man Steve Morrison. Yeah. He would always plug me. Jeezy came to the studio, and then Jeezy was like, I'm talking to Snowman. This is Snowman. This is like one of my favorite rappers, and he's talking to me, and he's asking me my thoughts on sports. Fab did the same thing. I'm doing stuff with Fab, bro. And Fab, he's like, oh, what you think about the Knicks this year? And I had to turn my head like, you talking to me? Bro, you Fab. Like, I used to copy your mixtapes when I was in high school. And you sitting up here and just acknowledging my presence and making me feel as though, not that I'm on your level, but like, you're not trying to poo-poo me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it was those moments, man. Like, those are the craziest moments that I take from being in that place, man. And there's really nothing like it, man. Like, whether you enjoyed your time at ESPN or you did not, that's everyone's experience is different. But the one thing I say, man, the context and the connections and the power them 4 letters hold, and the reaction that anybody's face would show you when you say, oh yeah, I work at ESPN. Bro, you could be the janitor at ESPN. You say you work at ESPN, everybody gets out your way and just be like, oh my God, you work at ESPN.
Yep, you're right. I've had a lot of friends who that's where they'll put me over amongst the other friends. Oh yeah, this is my man Brian. He worked at ESPN, and I'd be like, yeah, And I remember when I went into wrestling, my first day, like my first time back at home, and I went to work for this wrestling organization outside of Philly. My man Blake goes, this Brian, he worked at ESPN and he interviewed Brock Lesnar. The whole time I just shot the camera, and that was a moment for me. Now, here's the crazy part about that. The night before, Brock was on TV with The Undertaker, and he had to come to campus to promote SummerSlam. Now, the thing that sucked for me was I left just when they got that deal they had with the WWE, and Coach Hennett, he told me I was doing a thing for Instagram, and it was like the Royals had a bunch of players leading the All-Star game. So I wrote this script for him. He read it. It was like a voiceover, Instagram video. And Coach was like, I said, hey man, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, I grew up, I said, I usually don't do this, but I've been a fan. I did that with him and Grissom. I told him like I was a wrestling fan. He said, oh yeah, you're a wrestling fan? Stay tuned. I said, oh yeah, he's working on some stuff. That's it. He just left it at that. I leave, and the crazy thing that drives me crazy when I think about it, Steve Brayman told me, I put in my notice like that. Let's just say I put it in that Friday. That next day or two, that Monday, he said, dude, I was going to send you to SummerSlam. I was like, because I was at that time, I was like the only person who hadn't traveled with social media yet. And I was going to get sent to the women's parade when they won the gold medal, but they wasn't giving us the access. So they was like, man, I'm sorry. I said, look, it happened. So cool. I mean, I got to go to the barbershop with Baron. That time they did the little thing when it was the matter of fact, you was in Oakland because it was the day after game 1 for the NBA finals that year, the first Cavs Warriors series. But I gotta ask you. So why did you leave?
I left ESPN because I bet on myself, to be real with you. Um, I had gotten to a point where I started to notice that the things that I wanted to do were not being what I was allowed to do anymore. You tell a story about SummerSlam. My story is sneakers. Anyone who knows me at ESPN knows that I was pumping sneakers at ESPN for years, pumping it. I did a internet show called uh, From the Ground Up with legendary sneaker personality, respecting the game, Scoop Jackson, right? You know what I mean? Scoop's my guy. To this day, Scoop and I keep in contact, whatever. Nike would come to ESPN. Nike asked to speak to me when they came to ESPN, not the other way around. Nike asked to speak to me when they came to ESPN. I'm in the conference room upstairs on the first floor of building 4, and I'm sitting in this Nike execs, and I'm sitting in this just little old me from Southwest Philadelphia who just has a dream and a vision of sneakers. I started to realize that what I wanted to do, they were not going to let me do. So it became a struggle. And then I started to be a not so great employee anymore because I'm 6 years in. I was like a girlfriend who's been with you for 6 years and you just keep telling them you gonna marry them. Well, by year 6, dude, I'm not listening to this anymore. Either you're gonna put the ring on it or you're not. And I presented people at the company with some ideas. Met with people from social, met with people from my department, met from people from the basketball department, met with people from all types of departments. And everyone kind of gave me all right, we'll think about it. Well, the we'll think about it turned into me not giving a bleep anymore. And I wanted to be closer to my family here. And I just decided one day that enough was enough. I'm gonna bet on myself. I left ESPN in December. My last day at ESPN was December 20th, 2016.
Right before Christmas.
Right before Christmas. I wanted to make the bonus. That's really all I wanted to do.
I love it.
Yeah, by February 1st, 2017, I was hired at Complex, making double what I was making at ESPN and giving 3 times the responsibility that I was supposed to do. And a month later, after I got hired at Complex, I wake up one morning and my phone is jumping. Like to the point where I'm nervous. I'm thinking something happened to somebody. It's probably about 30 to 40 people sending me an article of the front page at ESPN.com, and it's a sneaker story. It's a sneaker story. And some of the people that hit me were employees. And all the text said is, I'm sorry. And by them telling me those words, dude, it made me realize I wasn't crazy. Right? Like clearly, and if anyone follows ESPN now, sneakers are all over the thing, dude. That's all I mean. Like they coming out with articles, they got videos, they got live coverage, what this person wore this day, what's LeBron about to rock, like all that stuff's happening. And I'm not saying I'm the person, because there's other integral parts. But I can tell you right now, all those people that's gonna tell you they people, this is their idea, can't one of those people tell you that they didn't have a conversation with me before this stuff happened?
Wow, man. Wow, man. That it sucks, but it seems like with us as Black people, we always being told, and we call it in the wrestling world, we call it the Dusty. You may have heard when Stone Cold Steve Austin went on his like ECW rant, like for briefly, and he said, I had this idea, and he wanted to work with Hulk Hogan when he was in WCW, and Dusty Rhodes said, no, Steve, that's for somebody else. No, baby, that's for somebody else. We'll keep it right where you at. And essentially you got the Dusty, and it's frustrating. And it's one of those things, man, you see so many people. And like you said, grateful for the times, opportunities, lifelong friendships because of it. You know, you and I sitting here talking, and you know, I've been gone since 2015. So 5 years, but lifelong friendships because of it. But the system there is jacked up because he is a man who's ingrained in the culture, who's educated. And they always say the scariest thing is an educated black man who's educated and who can relate. It's a reason Nike wanted to talk to you as opposed to somebody else.
And I didn't, you know, and not to sound like the bitter person, because I'm not, right? I did my research. Like, I don't want any, like, I didn't come to the higher ups with some half-ass idea, with some half-ass plan. That wasn't it, dude. I did my research. I was like, I got connects with this. I mean, anyone who follows sneakers can tell you DJ Clark Kent is legendary in the sneaker game. So I made sure that my sneaker show that I did with Scoop, we hit the legends. I had Clark Kent on it. I had the owner of StockX before StockX was StockX on the show. I had my man George Kill, who was representing Nice Kicks, who was the biggest sneaker interviewer type influencer boy in the game. I had him on the show. I mean, I had it all, right? I mean, we even did something. Now, Kevin Hart was another show we did. That was a car wash. But you get my point. Like, I'm tapping into the culture. I mean, anyone follows. I had Mayor on the show, who's legendary in the game. I was supposed to have Iguodala on the show because he had some stuff coming out. We had did some stuff with D Wade. We had like, we did it, and the love wasn't there for me, man. So, you know, I had to make an executive decision for myself, and I said, I'm gonna roll the dice on me. And if I left on a Monday, my phone was jumping on Tuesday when everybody called me. I mean, all the people from social, Scoop calling me, NBA, all the NBA writers calling me, right? Because like, these are my guys, like, they know it. And like, the crazy thing is, dude, and I declined it. They did that 50 greatest sneaker John or something like that. Like, right, not too long after I left, they called me and asked me to like give some like info or whatever. I was just like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, y'all not about to, that ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the offer. You my man. I appreciate you, but I hope you can understand why I gotta respectfully decline this interview and you know, and that stuff, man. So I mean, it's all good. It definitely worked out. I would not trade any experience. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about the business with just me trying to bring something. And I'm not saying that I would never, ever, ever go back, because you'll know this phrase: the best way to get what you want at that company is to leave and come back and demand what you need, right? And that's advice I'll give anybody starting out in any business, right? Your most effective time before where you can demand or control the scenario of what your life with this company is about to be is before you agree to terms, because they want you. So you can dictate the narrative. You can say, hey, I need this. I want to do this. I want to do that. Once you sign on that dotted line and you are now an employee of that company and you are nothing more than like, and you ain't out here on your Stephen A, and you just a regular employee like yourself and myself, like we were regular employees, you got no leverage after you sign on that dotted line. So, you know, I listen, man, I talk to people all the time. I would have no problem going back on the right terms. No problem going back to do what I want to do. Like, I can't go back and do the old stuff. Like, I got to come back and be like, yo, I'm doing sneaker content only. I'm traveling for sneakers. I'm going to this event. I'm going to that event. And if it ain't that, I ain't doing it.
There you go, man. There you go. How was the time at Complex?
Complex was dope, man. It was a little different. Complex name doesn't ring bells, as crazy as that sounds, like ESPN's does. But I had a ball, man. I was able to produce and
I got an opportunity to be a director at Complex. So that was a lot of fun for me. And I got an opportunity to manage a department, which is something I never actually wanted to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I always joke with people I'm like people like, oh, let's do a radio show. Cool. I don't need to be Russ Parr or whoever insert the A act. I'm cool with being the B. Because one, the B get paid, maybe not as much as A, but the B get paid, and the B is not who everybody come after for when the A does some stupid shit. Stupid stuff. My apologies.
You good.
You know what I'm saying? Like Steve Harvey's more on the show. They coming for Steve Harvey. They're not coming for Cousin Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm cool with being Cousin Tommy. You know what I mean? Like, so Complex was dope. Like I got an opportunity. I worked with Fat Joe in Complex. I got an opportunity to work with Bun B at Complex. That was love. I got an opportunity to wear a championship ring at Complex because somehow, some way, after the Cavs chipped up, somehow, some way, a real championship ring was at Complex. Don't ask me how, but I took a picture with it. I had it on, and I was like, it's crazy. It was about, bro. I mean, it was probably about 2 of my fingers that big of a ring. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Like, so Complex was fun. I just didn't stay long at Complex because I was a contracted employee that came in to do a sponsorship with a company, and the sponsorship ran out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was just the name of the game for me. You know what I mean? Sponsorship ran out. But again, one of the, I got that job because of a connection I made at Hampton with one of my homegirls that was a head of HR there. And one line, not to go off, but Drake's, what was that song Drake had, No New Friends?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's listening, let me just tell you something. That's the dumbest thing that anyone can tell you. No new friends, no new friends. No, make new friends, man. Make new friends, because new friends are connections. New friends are people that buy property. New friends are people that end up becoming CEOs of companies or head of this department, head of this department. New friends are what gets you to the next level. Old friends are what has you coming home and doing the same things you did when you were a kid. The people that you grew up with that are doing the same things, those are your old friends. Don't get rid of them because they're there for a reason. But if I don't have new friends, I don't meet you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Then we're not doing this. I'm not building with you. I'm not able to be like, yo, look, my man, hey, listen, the such and such company is looking for the next great wrestling podcast. I know somebody. But if I don't take the opportunity to really get to know you and become a friend, if I listen to that song, you know what I mean? So I whenever anybody asks me anything, man, like I always like to find a way to get that into the mix because I feel like that's the dumbest song out there. It's a dope song. It rolls, but it's dumb. The concept is dumb because you need to make new friends. You need to meet new people. That is how you get by in life. Don't mean everybody gotta get in your circle, but you gotta meet people, man.
Yeah, and and people got to realize like that's the reason why we in the country in a situation now, because trying to relate to somebody that can't relate to you. This man put a ball cap hat on, and hopefully by the time that this comes out, we won't have we'll be counting down to the end of the term.
Ooh, please, Lord, baby Jesus. All I ask is that on November 3rd, right here, November 3rd, just oh Lord, I just asked that everything just go back to semi what it was. Not that what it was great, but it's better than what it was, what this is right now.
Mm-hmm. But he put a ball cap on, and all of a sudden, and all the poor people who think the way he do think, oh yeah, he talking like, no, he not. Like Dave Chappelle said.
He's talking to Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle makes buco bucks, and that's who we trying to help. He not helping you. He look at you as actually less than us, because at least we got something to bring to the table, which is why not to go off on that ring, which is why they trying to kill us, because we are the threat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? An educated black man, a focused black man, and I don't even want to be what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even want to be corny and not give the real love, because man, shout out to all the black women in this world. Shout out to the mothers. Shout out to the ones holding it down. Shout out to the ones that are because I mean, dude, I seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen, and I ain't putting I ain't gonna put companies out there or put names out there, but I've seen it with my own two eyes how in these rooms women are talked to, and it's not cool at all. And these are white women that are talked to, and the black women get talked to way crazier.
Yep.
Way crazier. And anytime they get upset or they get mad, they get labeled, which is not cool, man. So, we all we got, man. And please vote November 3rd. I hope while the titles come out, you would have voted. So hope you voted on November 3rd. Hope you made the right choice for what is best for not just you, because it ain't about us right now, man. Because I'm actually working the polls on November 3rd to let you know.
That's what's up.
And I felt like it's my duty for my daughter to do that, because this ain't 50 years ago when our parents were young and our grandparents were young and they had dogs at the polls. But this is about to be damn near close to that. And I feel like this election ain't going to impact me but so much, because I'm going to have to adjust. It's going to impact my daughter more than it's going to impact me. I owe it to my daughter to make sure that every single person that wants to go vote, whatever reason you want to vote, like, you're not about to be standing outside the poll I'm at intimidating Miss Bessie or Uncle Cliff from going to vote. Nah, I will go outside and walk Miss Bessie in and allow Miss Bessie to make whatever the choice she want to make, because her choice is going to help my daughter down the line, man. So I know that was off top, but you know what I mean?
That's real talk,
man.
man. That's definitely real talk, man. So now you work in the news business, right?
Yeah.
How is it? How you like it?
It's different.
Yeah.
I never really was into the news.
Okay.
I started out in news. I never really was into news. To this day, I really don't even watch news. It's very depressing. I actually hate when I gotta cut videos for the news, because everything upsets me. I'm tired of seeing black men killed. I'm tired of seeing people killed. You know what I mean? And the way our country is that we lead with death. Death is the first thing you ever see. If you go to other countries like Canada, they don't do that. They give you all the positive news first. America gives you all the murders, the molestations, the rapes, all that. They give you all that first, and it's just like, oh, and by the way, Amy has a little lemonade stand, and it's awesome, and and that's like the 30 seconds at the end of the news program, which you probably not even checking for that joint no more, because you probably turned it off after the last weather forecast, because truth be told, what you need after the last weather forecast, right? You don't care about the feel-good puppy story, right? So like, it's different.
How did you manage, especially because you was working in the height, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Jacob Blake, and now, and especially close to you at home, so that's why, I was really like checking on you with the gentleman, Mr. Wallace.
Man, I'll tell you that it's very upsetting with a lot of these things. I've been in multiple newsrooms. I was in a newsroom when O.J. Simpson was about to come out with that book saying, I'm not saying I did it, but if I did it, this is how I would have did it.
Oh, you was?
That book. I was working at Fox, ironically, at the time when they did that. And I was in a room with all white people as this topic came up. And I sat there and I was just like, damn, he gotta chill. Like, damn, like I did rode for you X amount of years ago, whatever. But it's different now, man, because people are more aware now, it feels like. And the racist things, I went to predominantly white schools all my life outside of Hampton and been around white people my whole entire life, right? So like, I feel like I have a good idea. And I went to one of those high schools that when white people that went to that high school find out that I went to that high school, they always hit me with oh, you went there. And I'm like, yeah, I went there, no athletic scholarship, straight off the muscle. I went there and I graduated. And I received this award, I received that award, and I went on and I did this and I went and did that. I shouldn't have to tell you all that, but I did, right? So like I function in these environments, and I'll say that the white person that's growing up right now seems to be a little bit more with us. They can only be but so much with us, right? Like you only gonna ride for me so much until I actually start hurting your pockets. And then it's like, damn, dog, that was a good cause, but I kind of like my little 100K I make a year, so I ain't trying to mess that up. But look, you be good. Call me if you need me type joint, right? Like, I know what it is in the long run, but like to see people, to see them on the front line with us, to see them, how it's impacting them, man. Like it's crazy to think that it wasn't always like this, where people didn't always seem to have that humane side to them. But you know, it's dope right now, and I would not trade being in the business for anything right now, because I feel like my duty as a video editor for a news is to put as many Black and brown people on the video as possible in a positive light. So for honesty, when I cut a VO, the first thing I look for are Black and brown people. I put them in the front because I know that's when it gets seen. I want people to see Black and brown people happy. I don't put your auntie on that got the slippers and the cornrows in the air. I don't put her on camera. She will not make my video that I'm editing that night. So if you're watching CBS 3 in Philadelphia and you see somebody like that, I did not cut that video. I promise you. You know what I mean? Like, I won't put you on because I feel like that's what they do. They show you that. So it makes it okay for you to go outside like that. It makes it okay for you to go outside and be like, what was my man? What was that meme that went around where he was like, oh my God, he had the red do-rag.
I know exactly. What's that the one you gonna find?
Oh my God. Not the one where my man said, I heard a white woman screaming. Anytime you hear a white woman screaming, like, not that bull. Oh my God, like, I know this. Oh man, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Like,
and somebody listening sitting up there yelling it. They yelling it right now.
They like, oh my God, you can't get it. Like, I'm not putting that on I'm not doing it. I feel like at my job as a Black man in this country that wants everyone to just be like, yo, we all the same. Literally. Like, if you look at man and where man has come from, no matter how you believe the start of time happened, whether you believe it the biblical way or whether you believe it the scientific way, no matter how you do it, we all coming from the same thing. So if you believe the scientific way, we all started from the same species that came out of the water, that developed the walk, and then we went to different parts of the world, and then we did this. And if you believe the biblical way, which I believe, we all coming from Adam and Eve.
Yep.
We all come from the same God. Why you don't like me? I did nothing to you. All I did was be born with darker skin complexion to you. That's it.
And I didn't ask
that. Yeah.
I love it.
Listen, dude, I love it. I wouldn't trade being Black for anything in the world. But if you telling me I can get that privilege, like, I would like to. Do you watch Lovecraft County?
I've started it. I'm like, I gotta finish it, but I
hated the show, right? Like, I thought it was trash. but there's a part in the show where they give this Black woman the opportunity to be a white woman.
I remember that. Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to go that far, but like, I wouldn't mind knowing what it's like to walk in a store and not have to have everybody follow me. Or my personal favorite, which is for me, to be able to go to an airport, watch all these people go and not get pulled to the side and get the hand wand, and then all of a sudden I'm the person. Like, you can't tell me that that's not corny.
You know, when shortly after George Floyd died, we had a massive meeting at work, and you know, it's via Zoom, everybody home, and you know, they wanted to talk about it. And mind you, my department, let's just say, I would say probably 70-30, right? And only 4 Black, at the time it was 4 Black guys. Now it's 3 because one of them left. Me and the other one who left were the only 2 Black guys under 40. Maybe even under 50, to be honest with you. And I said on a meeting, I said, look, y'all got to understand, this is tough right now. I said, no offense to, I mentioned the older 2 gentlemen's names. I said, no offense to them, but me and Kent, my man Kent, I said, we're closer to George Floyd's age. And y'all, I said, we experience racism right here in the office. I said, sometimes I get on the elevator right there in our office building and people will clench their purse or they see me, won't hold the elevator. And you see like people on the, on Zoom, they send you the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. Yo, that's right. And then, I got a few emails. Hey, I really appreciate you speaking up, but it's real. And, I was
It is
listening.
real, bro. And that's funny to do that to you because I know you. You're
Mhm.
like the least harming black man in America, right? Like you're not about to come, like you are a God-fearing man. You just literally want to take care of your family and have fun and you enjoy wrestling.
Appreciate that.
Like you not like I joke and I joke because I find it humorous. I find it hilarious that when I walk down the street,
Mhm.
I see a white lady cross the street, she clench a bag or whatever, like you just said. And I just be like, yo, if you had any idea, whoever that person that you just went to cross street, no matter how nice they are, they got a much better chance of doing something to you. Because you know what? I don't want any problems. I just
Mhm.
want to go home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's corny because it's like you're clenching your purse, you're doing all these things because of what society has told you that I am.
Mhm.
I'm not that. In
Yeah.
all actuality, if you look at it, it's your ancestors that were that. Your ancestors were the ones that did this. Your ancestors were the ones that treated people like this and that and acted like savages, even though they call us savages.
Yep.
You
Tell
know what I
me.
mean? I don't come from an ancestral background where my ancestors decided that they wanted to make other people work for them in a demeaning manner and treat them like animals. Like
Mhm.
I don't come from that. I come from a background of people where we believe in family. We believe in helping each other out, right? I'm Native American, right? Native Americans, they had wars, but Native Americans didn't go to war at first. They
Mhm.
smoked the peace pipe. They sat around and they smoked the peace pipe and they tried to hash it out. That's where we come from. Like, yes, war is something that happened, but like our people, that wasn't our people. Our people got on boats and things like that. Our people fell for things because we trusted people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like we were a trusting people. We were a loving people. We were a caring people. Family is everything. That's where we come from. That's our backgrounds. Now, over time, people grow up differently. Things happen. Society happens. Circumstantial things happen to you in life that make you act a certain way. You know what I mean? Because I do believe you're a product of your environment. I do. I
Yeah.
do believe your environment does dictate a lot of things you go to, but it's not your fault that your environment is like that because people is a systematic reason that your environment is like that, which is a whole nother bigger thing, right?
Mhm.
But like, I didn't ask for that. I don't believe that Nino Brown asked to be introduced to crack and coke. You know what I mean? Nino Brown probably grew up with his mom, having dressing him in on all them Easter outfits and stuff like that, doing his little 1-2 step for the camera and everything like that. And but then somewhere down the line, something happened.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Whether and then that turns you into this person. Same thing for you and myself, dude. Like there was a point in your life without even knowing your background. There's a point in your life where you were faced with the opportunity to do one thing right or do it wrong. You decided to do the right thing, which is why you stayed on the path you're on. I
Mhm.
could have went down many bad roads, many bad roads. I've gone down some, but like I didn't go down the roads that are like the roads that they say we go down. I didn't go down those roads. I'm
Yep.
just a 40-year-old, soon to be 40-year-old African American in America that has a daughter who he's just trying to put in the right position in life so that she doesn't have to go through a third of the bullshit that I went through. That's all
Mhm.
I'm trying to do, man. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to stop Billy and Paul's pop from opening his sporting goods store and creating generations of sporting goods store for Timmy and Joe and little Paul. I'm not trying to do that. Hey man, get your money. But I just don't understand why I'm trying to do that over here in the black community, and you got a big problem with that.
Exactly.
It don't make no sense. It's plenty of money. Like everybody, it's enough for everybody.
Mhm.
You ain't gotta have it all. Whatever. Like whatever, man. Like just stay safe out here, man. It's really real. Philadelphia people, please stay safe.
Mhm.
Um, it's And I don't know what's going to happen after November 3rd, no matter what the outcome is, whatever it is, please be safe and tell everybody that you love them because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
There you go, man. Wow, this was great, man. Let the people know where they can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. First name, last name, John, John, Jervay. I'm a part of the Counted Things Network. We have a podcast that comes out every Tuesday. My particular podcast is called Bomb for Black Opinions Matter. The M stands for Mother Effer. And on Thursdays, comes out on Fridays, I produce a show called Growing Up the Same with my man, Trayvon Edwards. We are on all social media platforms, all audio platforms, man. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, you name it, we there, man. Just type in BOMM, and it's just a bunch of Black people just giving you their thoughts and their opinions and trying to talk to you in a way where you'll understand this.
That's the thing, man. And we gotta make sure we let people know, like, we ain't no dummies.
No,
we ain't no dummies. We just out here just trying to make it like everybody else. And and shout out to the allies. Like you said, there's some dope allies, and we appreciate them. And I wonder, I said, man, are we really still suffering for OJ? Because I've said that
we are.
ESPN put together the Made in America piece, and then the other people, FX put together OJ.
Yeah, they put the cute joint, but ESPN gave you the
real.
raw. And I know we about to wrap, but let me just ask you this. That episode when my man was sitting outside and he was talking to his man, and he kind of basically admitted, I remember watching that episode and I said, yes, he did that shit. Now, I ain't trying to go because listen, I said, man, he did that shit. I was like, damn, I feel bad.
I gotta ask you this. You older than me, so I remember the trial because my mother worked.
I was watching the Rockets finals, bro. When they got in, I was mad. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to watch the finals. Like, the dream versus the Knicks. What are you doing, yo?
Yeah, and so like I was younger, so I hadn't really jumped into sports yet. As a matter of fact, my mother, she did daycare, so she would record the trial during the daytime, and then at night she would catch up on it. So it was
Court TV. That was the first time Court TV came out, bro.
Yeah, and it felt forever. But and I remember like my mother rooting for OJ and my grandmother rooting for OJ. And then I sit back and I'm like, wait a minute. At the time, as a child, you rooting. I was.
It was black and white.
Yeah.
It was that cut and dry back then, dude. I remember where I was at during the chase. I remember at the start of the chase.
Okay.
Not because at the nighttime I'm in my house watching trying to watch the finals game, but I can't watch it because it's in the little small corner of my TV, and I'm watching the Bronco sit outside of whatever it was.
And they done brought the Bronco back finally.
They done brought the Bronco back, bro. But I remember where I was at when the verdict happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget this moment because I was at St. Joe's Prep, 9th grade. This is how major that trial was. They come over the loudspeaker and they let us listen to the verdict live.
Whoa.
During school, right? And I remember it saying not guilty or whatever it was. Like, you know what I mean? Not guilty, whatever. And if it's 20 kids in class, 5 of us are Black. 5 kids are celebrating. 15 kids are not celebrating. Add another one because of the white teacher.
Wow.
It was crazy to me, dude. Like that was, now that I think of it, that was my introduction to realizing, without realizing it then, how split we are as a country.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so black and white then. I'm a Black kid and I'm just rooting for this man because he's Black, and I don't want white people to be, you know what I mean? And white people don't care about the facts. They just want the Black man to get joined. Now, fast forward some time, I apologize. I was wrong. I think my man did it. You know what I'm saying? My bad. But that's how we roll. We ride for each other. Mm-hmm. Even though this man was straight up trying to tell us, I ain't Black, I'm OJ.
That was the
You
thing
know what I mean?
there. And I sit back and look at it. Hindsight being 2020, I'm like, why was we rooting for this dude? I remember a lot of people posting on like social media, like, how in the world did he get off? And I remember my father kept saying OJ got off because he had money. I just thought my father was just talking, but
Nope, he was real.
when I saw how that my mother said it was the most expensive lawyer team,
The dream team,
the dream
dude.
team,
Like,
and I'm saying,
yeah.
wow. And now, like you said, hindsight being 20, so I'm like, man, that dude guilty. And it seems like ever since then, between Trayvon Martin and all the other countless names have been paying for it. And it's like, we'll give you OJ back. Let's get justice for these other people.
Y'all can have OJ. Please. I didn't shed not one tear when my man went to jail for the Vegas stuff. I just said, damn, OJ. All you had to do was just chill.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even chill. They was looking for a reason for you to go back to jail. You just gave it to them. But I ain't losing sleep over that. In fact, when they were saying OJ was coming home, I was like, oh, that's what's up. Now, I'll tell you this before we go. Yo, he's a hell of a follow on Twitter, though. If you don't follow OJ Simpson on Twitter, you losing out, man. Because I'm going to tell you right now. Because he chimes in on everything. And a lot of times you be like, ooh, OJ, bro, you might want to sit this one out, dude. This is like, OJ like, yo, look, I done came home. I done paid my fines for that other thing with the other thing. So now what I'm about to do is I'm about to speak to the people. Okay. You got it, OJ. I ain't gonna tell you nothing to your face, but I know how you roll.
Yeah. I don't know. You might can take him now, you know.
I don't want to find out, bro.
As long as he got a knife.
Yeah, or gloves.
Yeah. All right, man. I definitely appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all follow John, man. As you can see, we had a great conversation. So, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you, bro. You know, anytime, man, and best of luck to you and everything. And please, people, man. I know the election will be over by the time you hear this. I turned 40 this year. I've been asking everybody to vote for my 40th birthday. So since this will come out after that, I just ask, man, if it's someone that you love, if it's someone that you care about, if it's someone that you got kind of, we've been beefing over some dumb stuff, squash it, man. We've lost a lot of people. I've lost people to COVID. I know other people have lost people to COVID. I've lost people to dumb stuff. There's people that I've lost that I would love to get an opportunity to just tell them I'm sorry or be like, damn, it wasn't that deep. So I just say squash all your beasts, man. Live for today. I'm sorry, live for your children. You know what I mean? And just do what you got to do today, man, because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, man, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. So many nuggets, so much great knowledge coming from John. So make sure you check out his podcast and his content as well. Next week, I bring on, for the first time in the history of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, somebody who is a current colleague of mine, my good friend, Dr. Vanessa McMains. So you may know I've been working in media relations for almost 5 years. Well, Vanessa's been there well over 10 years. So you get to find out a lot of how things was on my job before I got there, as well as how they are now. And Vanessa comes on to discuss her journey as well as the transition into the way media is done today. Folks, do so right now. Subscribe to the podcast, drop a 5-star rating. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, make sure you do not break hearts, but break through glass ceilings. This podcast was recorded and edited by B Waters Productions. The music by Hypno Beats. Make sure you follow him at Hypno_Beats with a Z on Instagram.